Visual novels are plentiful in this day and age, but many names are recognizable as being great VN creators. Key is one of them. They made Little Busters, Air, Canon, and of course, Clannad. The game and anime people play and watch, trying their hardest not to have their heart crushed and drown in a sea of tears and despair. But before they formed Key, those developers made another game, one that just recently got remade for both PC and Nintendo Switch. And that's what we're diving into today. Here is my review of 1. The story centers around Kohei, a high school student that needs his childhood friend to drag him out of bed and is all around just lazy. We go through his everyday life at school as he interacts with several girls and can form relationships with them, from simple encounters to something more intimate. Now, the plot of this game is interesting. The slice of life everyday stuff I would call good but not great. There are some comedic things, but the story doesn't get really good until you get onto a girl's route and see her specific scenes and how the pro tag helps her. But don't be fooled, for a lot of the story, it feels like a simple, we're just going through school and the pro tag's gonna find a girlfriend at the end. But you get little hints here and there about something else going on. And about 3/4 into the game is when that fist that's been winding up a gut punch for the past 5 hours of gameplay lets loose on your heart, giving you Kohei's backstory and what's really going on. While it isn't as saddening as the Clannad after story, it is heartbreaking and I broke down in tears multiple times throughout the last hour of the story. And the more routes I went back to experience despite knowing what would happen, the worse it hit me in the feels. Also, with the translation, it's been modified a little bit, but most of it is the same as before. Many of the changes make more sense now, like a choice changing from let's go through the hills to let's go through the park. When it comes to gameplay, this is a visual novel with dialogue choices. As you play it, you will watch story scenes, make choices, and try to get onto a girl's route to get her ending. Though before we get started, this is actually a remake of a visual novel from 1998 of the same name. All the visuals have been overhauled, it has voice acting from previous ports, and has a ton more modern VN features, like auto, skipping to choices, and the like. Many of you probably already know it at this point, but this game is also based off of the all ages versions of 1, which had the sex scenes removed. They are written around pretty well though. The only negative thing about this port is the confusion around its price. This remake on Steam is $20, a pretty decent price. But on the Switch, it's $70? Well, let me explain. This was actually published in the West by 2 different companies. The Switch version was published by Ares Incorporated, the same people that published it on the Japanese eShop, and they just copy-pasted the Japanese version's price to the Western shop. Now, is this right when it's less than half that price on PC? No, but at least it gives us an answer as to why it's like that. Now let's get to main progression. This is a visual novel, so you navigate story scenes and make choices as they pop up to veer the story in different directions. And this is really more or less just trying to get onto a girl's route. The big event of the main story still happens, you can just change who is involved. Though something I really love is that this game tells you, or at least gives you hints on what choices will lead to what endings. Whenever dialogue choices come up, you'll see little icons for the girls to know what choices will raise the affection of what girl. It doesn't do this for every choice, but the vast majority do give you these little hints. And that's about it. It's a pretty straightforward visual novel. So that brings us to content and length. The interwebs claims this game is about 5 hours long, and I would give it a minimum of 8 to 9 hours. I had 10 logged by the time I got Mio's good ending and had done a bit of Nagamori's route. Now after this, you can go back to go through the other routes. But all in all, it's really just how much you love the game and how much you want to see how it plays out with different characters. Next is presentation, which looks beautiful. The CG artwork is detailed with a lot of depth. The environments and just everything about this game looks very pretty. And unlike some of the other Switch ports of Key's games, this uses the animated model technique, where the 2D renders during cutscenes will have moving parts, from swaying and hair movements to blinking. Then there's performance, which I have no complaints about. Everything runs great and it never crashed on me. That brings us to battery life. 1 gives the original and light models a range of 3 to 4 hours, while the V2 and OLED models get 5.5 to 7 hours. In conclusion, 1 comes to the handheld world in a beautiful remake that makes everything about the original look and sound better. Now on the downside, the publisher divide has left the Switch version with an astronomical price tag, and those wanting a crazy strong story from start to finish will find the game's beginning segments a bit too grounded. But if you love Key's work or just want another story to make you cry, it's good. You're just going to want to buy it on the Steam Deck until it goes on an extreme sale or gets a price reduction on the Switch. Reviews to Go rates 1 for the Nintendo Switch, a 7 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.